it since then. I mean, there's a little bit of tweaking and everything to kind of get it up to, get everything optimized and everything the first year or so, and then since then there hasn't really been a whole lot done with it. So you guys may have made some changes that actually we're not even aware of, I guess, depending on how much you guys have gotten into it and all that. But I mean, it's a pretty, simple system. I mean, there's a lot of little valves and little complexities to it and everything, but it's nothing's super out of the ordinary. It should be an anion exchange instead of an ion exchange, so instead of being a softener, like regular softener. It's just an ion. It's the anion side of it, so it's fairly similar. Other than that, I mean, it just runs through the backwash cycle. I guess you guys run from the well through the filters.
Yeah. So far, what we've talked about is all the well starts and stops on the reservoir level. The way some of the guys explained it very well is this is in between the pump, the well, and the reservoir. So it's a passive, system, right? So water passes through it. There's a couple ways to bypass it, and even blending water. So where else have you seen systems like this or installed systems like this?
There's one in Suring is ion exchange. There's one somewhere down by the Madison area. There's another one over by the La Crosse area. There's a bunch in right on the Illinois border, Wisconsin. But I mean, this isn't really that much different than, as far as the concept, as far as how the water flows, it's really similar to the way your guys' system operates. I mean, you kind of come through. You have some rough filters, then you send it through to your membranes, and then it goes through your clear well, and then your high lifts.
The old pressurized plant is kind of a passive membrane system, right? The water's pumped from the lake and it passes through and goes to the clear well. So yeah, in that regard, it is very similar. So we've looked at all the piping. I think we're just looking around to make sure we have a good understanding of the water through the system, water from the well, water from the reservoir. Why there's a salt, a brine tank, and a recovery tank and waste tank. Does everybody get that? Or I mean, we can go through those steps, but when we started having questions about the system itself, that's where we just didn't. I didn't have a good understanding. So, okay. So once the water, let's just start with the beds themselves. So it's a zeolite, or it has zeolite resins inside the chambers.
So just a charge differently.
So
it's all glass beads.
Okay. Do those last forever, or how long do they? Is there?
I guess nothing lasts forever, but I mean it's usually 20, 30 years. I guess it's a function of the water chemistry here. I think the chemistry is pretty good here. I don't think there's a whole lot of iron or anything like that, so I don't think you're having to take a whole lot out. I mean, I know like in Suring the iron's really high, so we had to go like 1 micron bags. We had to hit it really hard with sodium hypo before to oxidize that, take that out, and then hit it with bisulfite then after before it goes through, because obviously these don't like, media doesn't like anything to do with sodium hypo. Oh really?
Okay.
Causes it to wither up and everything. Takes the it's not liquid, but a lot of the humidity and everything out of it. So
okay.
Just causes it to go. It doesn't take a good charge.
So has anybody had to replace the resins in their beds at all? Or is that a big job?
It's not a terrible job. Like the one in Suring, I know we've acid washed those like 3 times. So that's just because their iron content was so high, and they would just run it until the iron coming out was higher than the iron coming in. And that's what's going on.
That'd be a red flag.
So then we come in and acid wash them, get it back, and then it'll run fine. Now we have the 1 micron bags up front, and they're actually adding iron out to their salt, to their brine system.
Really?
Not the iron, keep the resin.
Interesting.
Should the resins be measured in these every so often? No.
No, I can't. Essentially, can't really go anywhere. I mean, you'd have to break something in the header system inside of there.
Okay.
I noticed there was this
Strainer?
there's a trap there. Is that something that ever needs to get looked at? Or
Yeah, you should pull it out once a year and kind of take a peek at it and just kind of make sure everything's
okay.
in good shape. I mean, it's like a Y strainer you guys use for any pouring anymore.
Here, there's not. They have the
You
hypo.
have, you have some chlorine outlet.
Yeah, we have chloric acid.
Okay, so
on
you,
it, yeah.
okay, so you guys have the water strainers on your,
Actually, no.
carry your water and all that, or not?
No.
But yeah, I mean, I would take that down, I mean, like the tank, I mean, you know, do quick inspections on those as much as you can, I mean, especially that,
So the waste tanks
the
are all.
waste tank, because that's just gonna sit there and slowly feed the city, so.
So who would dispose of, you know, if there's like 2 feet of, you know, salt sludge in there, well, that's disposal by someone would suck that out, or what would you do with that waste?
Yeah, well, you guys use speedy cleaner around here, don't you?
Yeah.
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 So, something like that,
They would come and take
they
it
could
out.
come in and just back that out. Really easy, I mean,
Yeah, I don't think that's ever been opened up.
I don't think so either.
it's got a man, I don't think it has man on the side, does it? It's
I
just got that one on the
don't know,
top.
we could look around and see, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at some point, you know, I mean, truthfully, if you guys haven't done it, right, it's never been done, so it's probably about time.
All right.
I mean, if you put it on.
What do you say?
On the interval with your.
We've heard that a lot.
Yeah, a lot of things, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, if you guys put it on your, every 5 years or something like that, I guess, I mean, you'll be able to see what you see
Right.
now and know that it's been
8
6 or
years
7
or-
years,
yeah.
whatever, so, yeah. But I'd look into it every 5 years anyway, just kind of see what's there. I mean, I don't expect to see a lot in there, but I'm sure there's a decent amount of sediment or something settled.
Okay.
Eventually it'll get to the plant, you get to deal with it.
All right.
How about the salt brine tank? I mean, we just keep adding salt to it, water to it. Is that ever gotta be, you know, refreshing or taken down, clean?
No, that should be fine. I shouldn't really ever have to do anything with that. Because yeah, you guys add the salt to it, the water automatically gets added with the computer system, right? Doesn't that maintain a level in it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like one of the rinse functions always puts water back in the brine tank.
Yep.
Always puts water in the recovery, and then one of the rinses goes to waste, yeah. Okay, so what other questions do we have about the skid system itself?
The flow meters, do they ever get calibrated? Do they need to be?
No, they're all mag meters, so they shouldn't need.
Okay.
They should never need anything. They're not like the old propeller meters where you need to get done once a year where they get really user calibration.
Right.
I mean, you can go in and you can look at the parameters in the meters and just kind of see that the electrodes in the reader, you know. So, I mean, there's like 4 or 5 parameters in the electrodes on each of those, and you can go in and see, you know, just make sure they're within range, but it's going to fault and give you an error once they get out of range. So
Oh,
pretty much
okay.
take care of themselves.
So does the system also remove hardness, like a typical zeolite, or is it just, okay.
It'll take some time.
Is there any blending that's happening in terms of making sure that hardness isn't at 0?
I believe there is. I guess I'd have to look and see if it's all set up. Like I said, I haven't gone through this. I think it's probably been 5 or 6 years since I've been in the building, so sure.
Which is a good sign, I guess, right?
Gotta be.
Yeah. Let's see, what else were we talking about? The analyzers, you guys been dealing with Hawk directly?
Yeah,
So that's-
Hawk on those.
Reagents.
Yep.
Is there any other, if we keep having trouble with the Hawk analyzer, is there any other nitrate analyzers you guys would recommend? Or?
Yeah, nitrate's a tough analyzer. I mean, you know, Hawk. There's Hawk. ABB has one. I believe Emerson has some.
Okay.
So we're just having trouble right now keeping it in calibration. We'll calibrate it, it'll go up to the 10 where we're supposed to. Then next month when we get a sample, it's off by a half, where it's like 3.6 here and the lab says 3.1. So keeps drifting on us. So don't know if we want to send it in then and just have them look at it or how. If they drift that much naturally, I don't know.
They do. I would expect it in a month. I guess I would expect it in 4 or 5.
Okay.
But I wouldn't really expect it to drift like that in a month.
Is there a life expectancy, do you know, on those? Or not really? Okay.
They haven't been out really long enough to
No, if they're to last. Okay.
say what they're going to be. So.
Are these actuators, since these are electronic, are they rebuildable? I mean, pretty easily, or are they just pretty much when they're done, they're done?
They're pretty much when they're done, they're done. These are, I don't want to say the lowest cost actuator you could possibly get, but they're right there.
Yeah. We haven't had too many problems problems. I mean, the system is probably, like you said, 7 years old, but. And then spare parts, we would go through you to get spare parts for this, or we go through a buyer event, or?
Just throw us work.
So you guys are still the buyer event, yeah, for the state?
But I mean, like for plastic, like if you guys got any of the actuators or anything like that, I mean, the plastomatics are pretty easy to get. I mean,
Yeah, we have some spare ones here.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think there's what, 2 different types on these, or 2 or 3 different sizes?
Yeah, they're all just the same 2 wires.
Right.
So from time to time, we'll end up with too much water in our brine tank, depending on when they're coming with salt delivery. Is it okay if we take some off of there and put it into the covered brine tank? Is there any issue with that?
That's the best place to put it. Yeah, because you're recovered, it's all based on levels here, so it's not like it's going to overflow.
Okay.
Some of their older systems were on time, and then it was a little trickier because
I think this one might be on time. I don't know if it uses level for, do you think it uses level for where it diverts the water?
your brine recovery, is that? I think it just the level. I mean, I think there's a time in there that it actually stays open, but I think if it hits the level, then it
Diverts it.
changes position.
It's a good question. I haven't seen anything in there.
To both the wash tank.
Because we have been getting, sometimes the recovery tank gets out of range, we get that high alarm or low alarm. So I would suspect it should be diverting it before we get the alarm, but I guess it's all programming, right? But, okay.
There's a lot of things you can change in the program. I guess I'm not sure how far you guys have gotten. Dug into it.
Not very.
Yeah.
No.
Not very, 'cause that's all, let's take a look at it. Stand here.
Well, you guys have gone and double click on them, or click on them and see that you can actually put them all in auto or manual, or you can make all the changes to them, like your brine pump here. When you just click on it, then your manual auto will come up and your start, your stop.
Is there a log, there is a login required, right, on this? Are you familiar with that? I thought there was at one time.
Yep, and it should be
There should be
written
2 different
down
ones,
somewhere.
Right here, Reedsville and Well 5, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if it goes down, you have to log back in.
Yeah, okay, yeah, all right.
And there's another one I'd have to look and see what it is, but same with your with the tanks. You can always click on, switch them to hand and auto for your regenerations. Your the BVs in the top here is bed volumes. So I'll kind of let you know.
So that's currently set at 400. Is that just a standard bed volume setting, or is that something that can be extended if you felt
It can be extended if you're still seeing decent water quality after that.
Okay.
I guess it was set up initially just as a
Commissioned
as a number, but yeah, if you're looking to optimize your salt, you guys are going to pay a little closer attention to it. Try and optimize the system. Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to. If you're seeing your decent water quality, I wouldn't be afraid to bump it up to 450 or something like that. And just
And
kind of
so-
see
Okay.
how the changes make. I mean, you may be able to optimize it quite a little bit and save some money on salt. And, your water you're treating at the wastewater plant and everything. I mean, so
One thing they notice is that, as you switch bed volumes and one goes into regen, one comes out of standby, the nitrate might jump up slightly. Would that be an indication that one bed is doing
You may-
less than other beds, or?
yeah, you may see different combinations where that one is not getting regen quite like it should, and getting fully back. And that would be another indicator that you may be getting some fouling or something like that. Maybe time to look at either cleaning or regenerating a couple times just to kind
Okay.
of try and make sure you
Okay.
wash everything off, or change the cycling on that bed a little bit to get a little bit longer soak or a little bit longer backwash. Or
Okay, so that is something that you can do so the regen is based on time. It sits for 60 units. We think it's minutes, right? Whatever it might be, we're not sure. But you can repeat that process if you think you're not getting it regen, so it might help, just like a CIP, I guess, right? Yeah, on one of our membranes. All right.
If you want to do that manually, though, how would you know how much to put in these tanks and whatnot? Because we look at kind of some of the numbers and we're not really even sure what units they're in. you know, when we looked at the steps of the system, if you wanted to manually do that, how much would you know to go through the roll?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously this is bed volumes. Your added brine. Your time is in minutes.
Okay.
That's a contact time when you go. So when you add here, that's actually like what, like 0.93 of a minute for that. You know what I mean? Like, how do you know how much to?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at these. I have them written down somewhere as far as what each value is.
So can you so when you want to put one into a manual regeneration, I'd imagine the well house has to be running? Or where does it, does the well pump have to be running before you can do a manual regen?
I would think it would have to.
Okay.
Unless it gets your backwash.
All right,
you need it anyway.
got it. Okay, so you'd have to so you could technically you're regenerating two beds then, right? I mean, you'd have one in standby. That one would pop out and you could, all right, yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, you could regenerate. If you think you have a problem bed, kind of play with the combinations of them. And kind of see if you see one that stays high in a combination with the other ones, if you're starting to see your numbers jump every now and then.
One of the things we noticed all the different solenoids for the nitrate analyzer. It's got, effluent, influent, blended, and then the 4 beds. That, if you pick one of the beds, that you could maybe analyze the nitrate levels coming, because the performance of the bed is based on nitrate levels. Is that the only way you're measuring the performance of the bed? Is there any other way that we would tell if it's not regenerating properly?
Not without running some other chemistry at your influent or effluent. So,
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, as far as locally here.
So if we run all 4 beds and one's running at 5 and the other are running at 3, something might possibly regenerate the 5 again, try to get it down. Okay.
So that might be a monthly checklist we do, is switch those and write
Maybe
down.
once
or quarterly.
Yeah, maybe once right away to see where they're at, and then check it out. Yeah. Okay.
Is there a way to get out of the brine tank to the recovery tank using that pump?
Brine tank.
If, let's say, the brine tank is too high and we want to put water into the recovery tank, or do we have to use a?
Oh, there it is. It's on the scale. Valve 8. Hey, open valve 7. Open valve 8. Oh no, the pump's going the wrong way.
Yeah, you can't really get to.
If you opened 8 and 5 and 10.
Those together, you'll be able to.
Yeah, you can't stop it from going into the concentrated brine. So that would be popping a hatch probably if you want to do that, eh, Justin?
Yep, that's what we've been doing.
Some
Yeah, you
sort of
almost have to throw a little
Time.
sump pump or something like that in there, just
Yeah.
transfer it
Yep.
over, a
Okay.
drum pump or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no real.
Let's see, then when those concentrated brine levels, what kind of analyzer is that that's measuring the brine? What are we reading there at 57 or 40?
That's just percent full.
Oh, that's percent full. Okay, got it. So it's not like the strength of the salt solution or nothing, it's just percent
it's
full.
just-
Got it. Okay.
The conductivity meter, is that just reading if there's any excess salt left when it's going? So that's the only thing it's used for? Okay.
Have you ever seen any kind of breach where the conductivity goes high because of something failing in the bed, or what would cause the conductivity then?
Have to be that, the brine pump gets stuck on or the valve opener or something like that would really be the only thing that you just bomb a whole bunch of salt in there.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
I'm assuming there's an alarm then off of that?
Usually there is. We looked and it's 2200. If the conductivity goes to 2200, it'll.
Okay.
Yeah, it's set points. Click on set points and then you see alarms. That red button on top.
Okay, yeah, down the bottom.
All right. Yeah, I think our biggest questions were about the beds themselves.
any other maintenance we should be doing yearly or quarterly on these?
There's not really much you can do. I mean, there's no grease, there's no real,
Okay.
there's not really anything
Well, yeah, I've
we
been
can
greasing
do on it.
it.
I mean, short of the pumps themselves. You know, there's not really anything you can do to them.
Have you seen systems where they've been blending, water, like wells, between a good nitrate system and then some? So right now, their well 3 has been approaching 10 in the springtime, so once that happens, it's done, right? Once you cross 10 2 times in a row, you're out of it.
You know, we're actually doing that in Bowler.
Okay.
Running a separate feed from one well to the other well, or how are
You
they
have to bring them
mixing?
both together so
Yeah.
that no user can see that 10.
Okay.
Actually, Mattoon's doing it too.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, you'd have to bring a raw water pipe over here and use the same clear well.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be something.
How much is a system like this?
I think this was like $500,000 or $600,000, something like that. Right.
Something tells me the whole well house and the building and the nitrate was like
More
2
was
million,
that,
right?
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The whole thing is more.
It just sucks if you're running two wells into one system because now you gotta rely on one system.
Or you blend, right? Or you bring this down to 4 and
Just
you blend with the
blend
10.
the water in the tank. You don't really have to treat the other.
That's pretty common. I didn't realize it was as common as it is. Yeah. And then if they're both over 10, well then you gotta, if you can't bring the average down.
Right.
Okay.
At that point, then you probably have to upgrade the high lifts too because you're still gonna need your firm company.
That's
pump
true.
Capacity.
Well, we're kind of alternating anyways, yeah. So it's, our pump, the village is, I don't know, what's 70,000 a month divided by? Is that our 70,000 a month? 70,000 gallons a month, I think is what we're pumping?
For
For the whole village? Does that seem low?
That's low. We're doing
I
about
think it was-
46 a day.
46,000 a day, okay, all right. Okay.
Is there anything special on the bags, changing them, that we should know how to do, or any tricks, or?
No, there isn't really. I mean, you guys have the bleed valves and everything on them, so yeah, there's really.
Just when you fill them up, fill it from the raw water or fill it from the bottom that was already filtered, or how do we?
I always fill them from the top. It's just
Top.
much easier to make
Okay.
sure it settles down. I always crack the butterfly valve, just
On the
let it
top.
slowly fill in before you put the top in, and just make sure everything seats and you're in good shape with that plastic
Okay,
ring on the top that
Yep.
sits in there good and everything.
okay.
Then I always close the cover after that.
Oh, you leave the cover
I
open
do
while
that,
you're filling?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay,
usually just crack that butterfly valve and watch it flow in and
okay.
make sure the bag stays down, everything looks good, and then once it's full,
Then you don't need that bleeder on top really at all?
just a
Okay,
little bit of bleed at the end. So
okay. They shouldn't air bind though, should they?
they shouldn't, but and it's just, and the odds of them not, but I've had some of them where they didn't seal on the top, and then it bypasses, and then you get issues.
Okay,
So here it wouldn't be a big deal because you're just more getting rid of the sand with those for
Right.
the most part up front. Some of the other ones, if you start letting iron in that through, that's when we see, people start following their beds because the ring doesn't seal, so then a portion of the flow goes around the filter.
okay.
And you're just trying to keep sand from getting into, what are those, sand or iron or,
Yeah, just any kind of particulate, rust or anything that would come off the wall column or anything like that. So.
Okay.
What other alarms do you know that other people get on these? Anything really?
No, and truthfully, even this one, I think the only real thing that they've ever really had was, I think, the PLC issue. I think it got struck by lightning about 7 or 8 years ago, I think. And, the PLC went down.
Okay.
So when that happens, that's calling you and then we're working through Envirogen or what?
Yeah, we ended up just getting them to ship a new PLC, and then we came over and
Okay,
put it in and dump the program in it.
all right. Yeah, I'm not sure who has this most recent program, if it's something we should extract out of there or not. What, can I open this up and see, what kind of a PLC is this? I'm not even familiar with
It's a
this.
Siemens.
Is it a Siemens?
Right.
It's all
Schneider. So it's
Oh, it's Schneider Electric, okay, so. Yeah, that's, I don't even, yeah, that's a new one. So where is the processor? Is that the processor? Or are these the? That's the processor, okay, yeah, all right. Well, I'm assuming, I don't think anything's changed except a few set points from the original program, so.
Have you guys replaced this yet or not?
I don't remember replacing that one. You guys want to replace the USB or
Not in here.
UPS?
I guess have you guys have had it 2 years now? Or
Yeah, it'll be, this fall will be 3, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually in that 3 to 5 year range, but the batteries start going, so maybe something.
Yep,
Okay, putting
I can't remember if Nick did it in his first year or not.
or something like
It
that.
seems to me that there might have been some work done here, but we're getting pretty better. We're getting better at labeling what dates when we do put them in, so. All right.
And then this one does also have remote access, so they can.
They can call in?
Oh, it's got the RAS motor?
Yeah, so they can. You guys look it out. They can call in and
Oh,
make changes and stuff like that
okay.
online if you would ever need anything.
Then what's actually the Dell used for? Is that just,
The Dell is
It's a
powering the
processor.
panel view,
Yeah.
so this is just a
That's just a
display.
display.
okay, yeah.
Touchscreen display, so this is the
That is
HMI.
the-
Yeah, it's
okay.
the workstation. Yep.
So if this were to lock up, it's okay to open this up and cycle it
Yep.
up?
Yep.
Yeah, I've never done that. I don't know how it reboots or what kind of login. That's why I think that, or actually, I think there was an outage when Nick was here. We had powered down and we had to, it might have been the UPS. And we had to find that username and password.
And we had something when PJ Corton brought in the pressure transmitter that it kind of locked up too and we had to restart it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think this is all digital. You can use it.
Yeah, there should be some analog right here. Start sensors. All right.
And does that automatically update the program if they do updates?
Well, they can't update it until you guys plug it in.
Right,
But
okay.
yeah, but it'll automatically.
So we don't know what version we're running compared to what they may have,
For what?
the logic?
Yeah, typically the firmware, the program won't change. So they would, when they log in, they might have to update the firmware at that point, but yeah, typically it doesn't change.
Okay.
It's usually backwards compatible, but some of them would require you to update.
It's rare, but
Yeah. All right.
I took care of that. Did you read this one?
What's that? Treated water connectivity. Well, we got it right here. Yep.
If we come in and we get an alarm, which screen should we go to first to see what's going on?
I always go to the alarm just to verify it, and then go to the main
Okay,
and just kind of see where it points you to, and then set points. It's usually the kind of
okay.
the order that.
Then I know Dustin had said the valves, if they fail, they'll beep lights, different signals.
Yep.
Link different codes, right?
Yep. Yep. And then I don't know if you guys you've gotten into the alarms, but if you do get a nuisance alarm or something like that, you can disable it. Click it up there.
Okay,
So for whatever reason you get an alarm and you're waiting for a sensor to get fixed or something like that.
Right, you can't just,
Just go in and disable it so it won't.
okay.
Another thing too, if you guys get alarms in this, you know, it'll trip off here and you'll have to bring this back to okay. But there's also a master switch you'll then have to restart the system with right here. This will be in the off position when you have an alarm right here.
So even though it's a passive system, it still needs to be, it'll kick itself off, and you gotta restart it with that master?
Yeah, you gotta reset the alarm within parameters or whatever.
Okay.
And then you can go to the master switch and it'll allow you. Otherwise, if it's still alarming,
It
can
won't
click
let you,
again,
yeah, it won't
and
let you go
do
back on.
anything. It won't restart it.
When I'm on call, I just disable all those alarms, is that what I heard?
No, you just turn well 3 on and walk away.
Change the set points for the tank and put this one in my.
Yeah.
Yeah. Justin, anything else you have questions on?
No, that's, you know, I covered everything that I've run into, but, you know, it's one of
So
those
far,
things,
yeah.
you know, you hear, you know, on and off 6 weeks, and then you only run the well half the time, so.
Right, right.
Yeah, I guess if you guys are seeing some spikes, I guess I'd kind of start to pay a little closer attention to which beds are on at what time and kind of record it and kind of see where your levels are, and we can look at making some changes to it to, if we do see it, that looks like there's a bed that
Okay.
is getting ready to go. Because I mean, the sooner you get to it, the easier it is. You maybe I'll get rid of it with some brine settings as opposed to, you know, an extra backwash or two or something there, as opposed to having to, you know, take it down and, you know, when you have to acid wash them, it's a pain. Plus you're dealing with, you know, hydrochloric and
Oh.
20-some
Okay.
20-some%. And
Oh, wow, yeah, so that's doable though, hey? All right. Okay.
it's just a pain because you gotta, you know, basically take the whole system down, and you gotta have a tank to take one of the brine tanks down and use that as your acid tank, and then you gotta neutralize it and make sure it's all neutralized before you can then send it.
Sure.
It's a decent ordeal. I mean, it's only a 2 or 3 day process, but it's a
Right. A lot of
takes the
work.
whole thing down for.
So that hydrochloric, that process is getting rid of any kind of metals that might have, you know, got, or being trapped.
It
up
basically
already.
just comes in and cleans the whole. Yeah, cleans the
Scrubs it
whole
all.
resin and all that.
Wow.
You know, eats up if you had any kind of calcium or anything like that that would be on there. It'll chew that up and, you know, basically just puts the resin back to the nice shiny golden brown or whatever. So.
So inside these vessels, is it pure resin? Is there like a sand layer or something underneath, or it's just straight resin?
It's
all
just
the way
resin,
down?
you know.
Stainless steel filter on the bottom or something, or
I think it's all
Screen.
PVC.
PVC?
How big are the resin?
The beads?
The beads, yeah, the medium.
They're tiny. Like a pinhead.
Oh, that small.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you
wow.
have some?
Oh, that's it, all right. I guess I did see those before. Yeah. So those are small.
People at home say they got fish eggs in their
Yep.
system. That's when you check their water softener.
Yep.
It's usually what it is.